everyone, and welcome to another video. This is all of my pickups for the last half of July. Apologies that this is a little bit late. Uni started back up, so I've been pretty busy the last couple days. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll just get straight into it. First off is probably one of the most exciting things I got for this month, and that is just the standard edition, the Japanese edition of Your Name. This is a film I saw 3 times in cinemas, and this particular release, all of the Blu-ray and I think the DVD versions have English subtitles as well as a audio track with the English songs. So you can watch it in a bunch of different ways, with the Japanese songs, with the English songs, obviously with the English subtitles. Of course, no dub on this one because it is a domestic Japanese release, but I don't really watch dubs all too often. I've gotten too much in the habit of watching things as they air, so I don't really go back and watch dubs all that often. But I decided to just get the standard edition of this, mainly because monetarily this was obviously the cheapest. But it also, like, with the more collectors and definitive editions in Japan, the most expensive was 4K Blu-ray, which is something I can't watch anyway. I don't have a setup for that sort of thing. But a lot of the other releases came with a bunch of extras discs, which was probably extremely fascinating, aren't subbed, so it's not really something I could watch. So I decided to buy this one mainly because, one, I love the film. It is in Blu-ray, so I know that I'm going to be enjoying it, but I am probably going to sometime down the line also buy a English release, like a domestic release of this, whether that be the US or the UK version, I don't know. But I made the decision that I was just going to get the standard edition because for what the options were, this made the most sense to me, just with what I could actually enjoy from it. This release, like every one of them, comes with a sticker sheet, as you can see, with the main characters, as well as a bookmark, which is sort of a faux film strip. I didn't get any with the characters on it. I don't know if you can see, but it's just the cityscape, Tokyo, from sort of early on in the film. I know there's 36 different ones that you could get, but yeah, I just got that one. It's a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to. It's his best, in my opinion, it's his best film. I don't think it's the best anime film of all time, but it's definitely my favorite of Shinkai's, and I'm so excited to actually have this and rewatch it sometime soon. I don't know when, but sometime soon. Next is another film. This is a English release though, and it is a UK release of the Eureka 7 movie, Good Night, Sleep Tight, Young Lovers. This is a film I have seen before. It's not really a sequel to the original Eureka 7, although it did come out relatively quickly after the first season ended. It's much more of like a reimagining of the series. It's very, very different from what you probably expect from the television show. I'm sure that most fans of Eureka 7 have seen this. If you haven't, it's not really like needed, and like I said, it's not a continuation of the original series, but it's still an interesting, I find it very interesting. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous film. Bones did a fabulous job with it, and it's interesting to see how they like recreated this series and what sort of direction they went with it. Yeah, so it's nothing like fantastic or fabulous, but it was quite cheap, and I had been meaning to get it for a long time. I do want to rewatch it because it's been years since I've seen it, frankly. But yeah. Finally, for anime for this month, I got Sailor Moon S, the third season of the classic Sailor Moon series. This is, of course, just the first half of this third season, and this particular season is probably my favorite. I've mentioned before I am not really a Sailor Moon kid. I didn't grow up with it like a lot of people of my age did, because I was never allowed to watch TV before school, which is the only time Sailor Moon played. So I don't really have a huge amount of nostalgia for the series, but in saying that, I do really enjoy what I've seen of it. It's one of those series that, although it is sort of this classic nostalgia show for a lot of people, it still holds up regardless of age, and watching it now as a much older person than probably the target audience and my peers back when this was first airing, it's a very fascinating work. You can definitely tell why it stayed so popular for so many years. I have a big respect for this series anyway. It certainly revived the magical girl genre, both inside Japan, and like introducing it to the larger global audience. I hadn't really seen too much of... I wanted to watch it mainly because of Ikuhara's involvement, the director. And I wasn't disappointed. It's not, of course, like a one-for-one for the manga, considering this was a lot longer of a show. But it's still very, very good. And all of the like extra episodes, the quote-unquote filler, all helps to actually flesh out the cast and the characterization a lot more than I think even Sailor Moon Crystal, the recent one, and even parts of the manga fail to do. So yeah, this is the Shonen release, as you can see. I've said it with the other box sets before. This is probably the best way, video quality wise, you can get this show in English. It uses the same masters as the Italian DVDs, which are on par with the Japanese releases, and of course comes with the new dub and all of that. So yeah, Sailor Moon S, probably a lot of people's favorite season, considering it introduces the Outer Senshi, who are very, very fascinating characters. And yeah, I look forward to watching more of this one too. On to manga, we have the most recent volume of Horomia by Hiro and Daisuke Hagiwara, released by Yen Press, as always. This was a great volume. I really, really enjoy... I mean, you can complain that there's a lot of like high school set romances in manga, and there definitely is, and there are certain tropes that come with it, certain events. This in particular, this volume has the athletics festival, but Horomia really does manage to balance the comedic side very, very well. It is mainly a comedic manga, but there's some pretty good just character drama in here as well, most notably with these two cover characters who, if you've read the series, you know whom they are, one being one of our main characters, the other being sort of a bully from his past. It's interesting because you can really see how it's believable in the way that how like teenagers relate to each other, and how those years of adolescence we really change, and like our opinions evolve, and we come to the realization that we were doing things that don't really make sense, or we don't know why we were doing them. I don't know. It's sort of hard to explain, but this is a very good series. Especially if you're a fan of romantic comedies, I would definitely recommend it. It's funny, it's likable. The school festival stuff is pretty hilarious, and I'm always happy whenever there's a new volume out, so I can't wait for the next one. Next is one of my most favorite comedic manga, and that is volume 8 of Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. If you're not reading this series, I highly, highly, highly encourage it. It is hilarious. It is mainly a 4-coma or 4-panel series, so if you have any familiarity with that, it is like quite short, punchy jokes. But the setup throughout the entire volume is always great. This particular volume has a wonderful, wonderful chapter on Kashima helping Seo's brother at his workplace. Like you can see on the cover, she's dressed as like a waiter. But when the drama club hear about that, they pretty much all just go in support and setting the scene of her being a waiter. It's so funny. And then there's misunderstandings about Waka and Seo, and just, oh man, it's so hilarious. I've said this before, but Japanese comedy can be really hit or miss with me. I either really, really dislike it, or I really love it. And a lot of fan favorite comedic series I'm really not a fan of. But others I really am a fan of. And this series is definitely one of my favorites in so far as how it's, despite having sort of a basic premise and familiar setups, it does it so well, and pretty much every joke lands. I've never been like really disappointed with a joke. Nothing's ever made me groan aside from like, oh my god, oh! I've never been annoyed with this series or the characters in this series. That's the other thing about it. It is a comedic manga, but all of the characters are like, they're never cruel to any characters. It's not like jokes at the expense of characters, or if there is, it's meant in like a light-hearted way, which does make all the difference in comedy, I think. But yes, fantastic volume. Again, can't wait for the next one. It's always so very good. Next is a older release, and by older I mean quite a bit older. This is actually from Del Rey. It's volume 1 of Eternal Sabbath by Fuyumi Soryo. This is the series I've wanted to read ever since I finished Mars by the same mangaka. Very different setting, where Mars was like a shoujo romance. This is a seinen sci-fi sort of thriller series, and I was really fascinated. I really wanted to read it because the darker aspects of Mars, you can definitely see how Soryo could handle a darker series like Eternal Sabbath. And with the recent manga readathon, quite a few people were actually reading this, or certain volumes of this, so it finally encouraged me to actually get my butt into gear and find a couple volumes. And so yes, volume 1, I'm looking forward to reading it. I do have the rest on order, so I'm going to wait, and I'm going to maybe I'll read this one, but hopefully I have all of the volumes soon so I can read it all at once. And yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this one. It's out of print, but it's not super hard to find. I'm fairly certain you can find almost all the volumes for very decent prices. So yeah, if you are interested, I'm sure you could find a copy of things somewhere. Next, like every month, we have another volume of Haikyuu. This is volume 13. Again, more season 2 stuff. So if you watch the anime, it's sort of the later half of season too. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this aside from what I say all the time. This is a very fun, energetic, enjoyable sports manga. It's probably one of my favorite currently being released. I'm so glad that series like Haikyuu and Yowamushi Pedal have really encouraged sports manga into English-speaking countries. And I'm glad that this seems to be doing so well for Viz, because it is really, like, I don't know, it's very, very likable. And despite having seen it, a lot of the stuff already, it's still a lot, like, a different experience reading it in the manga. Furodate knows what he's doing, and yeah, Haikyuu is just really, really fun. Really fun. Next is the second volume of one of my most highly anticipated series for this year, and that is Descending Stories by Haruko Kumota, the josei series about rakugo, or comedic storytelling. And this is a series that I am absolutely overjoyed to be able to actually support. This is the sort of thing that 5-10 years ago we would never have seen getting an English release. It really does show how times have changed within the Western market, and I'd love to be able to spend my money on something like this where it doesn't necessarily have the support or the mass appeal that a lot of other manga do, especially, you know, your normal shonens and seinens and even shoujo that are getting licensed all the time. This is definitely a series that falls within the niche. But I hopefully, in my limited capacity of influence, I can get some of you guys to try this, because it is honestly a work of art. Watch the anime, it's on Crunchyroll, it's fantastic. Some of the best television, full stop, I've seen in years. It really does go above and beyond what you expect of the genre, both in anime and manga. And to be able to have a series like this being released in English, I can only hope it encourages more people to buy it and try it and experience this story that is just done so masterfully. This particular volume really does focus on Kiku and Hatsuharu's relationship in sort of the early years and learning Rakugo, and our main character, Bon, Kiku, Yakumo, whatever you want to call him, how he grew to love the art and the people involved with Rakugo. It does cover both pre and post-war, of course, you know, war years as well, and it does really, really illustrate how society was changing and how different things were held in priority and respect and that sort of thing. It's wonderful. Yeah, just try it, guys, please. It definitely deserves your money. Then another Kodansha josei release being Volume 5 of Princess Jellyfish. This, like all the omnibuses, has 2 volumes, so it's actually technically volumes 9 and 10 from the Japanese release. And again, I love this series. It's very, very funny, very relatable, very just overwhelmingly celebratory of passionate people, which is a great thing to see, because a lot of times you do see, I mean, series has the nerdy character or the weirdo who's like obsessed over something, which of course, like, complete obsession is not great, and this series explores that side of it as well, but it does really embrace these individuals, these characters who have such a love, such a passion for the things they enjoy and the things they're doing, both the Amars and Kuranosuke, that you can tell that Higashimura isn't demonizing this idea of being a fan or having things you love that other people don't necessarily understand. This particular volume really does shift this series into what I've spoken about before with this series, being very, very realistically portraying the fashion industry globally, not just within Japan. And it, again, I've said it before, it's very refreshing to have a series that is so blunt and just overwhelmingly honest about these sorts of things, because generally manga with a fashion sort of plot or setting is very dreamlike and sort of, oh, we can do it if we have the passion and if we love it, when in reality the fashion industry is one of the most brutal, hardest things to get into and stay profitable in. It's not an easy ride whatsoever. It wasn't, when this was written, it wasn't 30 years ago when my family was in the fashion industry. It's such a cutthroat, dog-eat-dog world, and even if you're on a very small scale, it's not easy. There's no way you can just go into it thinking you can make clothes you're passionate about and come out making a profit. That's not how it works. It is business first, and it's a very hard business. So I hope I haven't scared anyone off, but it is so wonderful to see a series that, whilst it has this passionate love and this idea of creativity and uniqueness and embracing the things you love to create things that can support you, create a company that will support you. The realities of it is, these are young characters. They have no experience in this, and there's a lot of shit that can go wrong. Absolutely everything can go wrong. And it's marvelous. It's marvelous. So I talk about this every single time, but this particular book is really where that shift happens. I've read ahead on Crunchyroll's manga app, so I do know what's going on in the next couple volumes of this at least. But yeah, it's definitely probably one of the easiest josei to get into as well. It's not like overwhelmingly for women or anything like that. So yeah, I encourage you to try it out. It's fun, it's funny, the characters are all great. And yeah, if you've ever been a fan of anything, it's relatable. You can understand the passion of wanting to enjoy and share the things you love with the people you care about. So yeah. Next is the only BL I got this month, and that is The World's Greatest First Love, Volume 7 by Shungiku Nakamura. I've spoken at length before about how I'm not really a Nakamura fan, and World's Greatest First Love is definitely my favorite of her series, but in saying that, I don't, it's not my favorite BL of all time. Nakamura is definitely, even now, still falls into that, my first BL, my first yaoi that I ever saw sort of series. Back in, when I was a young 13, 14-year-old, that was series like Gravitation and Nakamura's other work, Junja Romantica. Now we have a lot more different series that are sort of these introductory to BL for a lot of young people. But yeah, despite Nakamura's problems, which are sort of epitomized in Junja Romantica, this series definitely, whilst it still has problems, is probably my favorite in so far as how the characters interact with each other. The characters' personality is pretty much full stop, and sort of the non-romantic aspects of it as well. The setting of like a manga editorial department is pretty interesting. It actually plays a lot to the situational humor of it. And Nakamura, for all her faults, is very good at her comedic timing. She has an art style that does support sort of the situational reactive style of comedic art, so it works well. That being said, probably most BL fans are buying this or reading this or whatever, so I don't need to recommend it to anyone. That being said, if you're wanting to try Nakamura work and you're not a fan of her other stuff, World Square's First Love isn't perfect, but it's better. It's better than Junja Romantica. Hybrid Child I'm still on the fence about, but yeah, for the most part this is perfectly serviceable. And I don't know, it's sort of like that guilty pleasure cheesiness that everybody has, and this is one of mine. So thanks Sublime for releasing it. I'm glad that the better Nakamura title is coming out. And yeah, I'm sure Volume 8 will come, and I'm sure that I'll buy it. And finally, something I haven't gotten for a long time, but that is a art book, actually. And this is Natsume Ono's art book it's a collection of art from House of Five Leaves. This book is very easy to find on Amazon Japan. You may need to use a proxy, but it is so cheap that even after proxy like services and all that, it's cheaper than you would find. It's cheaper than a typical like volume of manga, or even like a eBay copy of this that you'd be able to find. Natsume Ono, like I've said before, has a very distinct style of artwork that I absolutely love. Of course, this does only contain stuff from House of Five Leaves, but that is not a bad thing. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous book. It's very small. It's a little bit larger than like a signature edition release. And it's done with the Japanese paper cover, similarly to the Mushishi art book. It's beautiful. It's wonderful, and I love it. So yeah, if you're an art book fan, or if you're a Natsume Ono fan, this is a great one to pick up. I'm sure a lot of people have it, but if you don't, then check it out, because it's pretty great. And that was everything that I got for the end of July. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if there's anything that you're reading or you're watching or that you enjoy or you want to get, or you're interested in but want me to convince you more about. Or tell me what you guys have gotten. It's always nice to see such wonderful long comments, and I do try to respond to most of them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Simply G, and I'll see you next time. Bye till then.